Welcome back, listeners. You've just had the absolute pleasure of listening to Conversations, an original piano composition, and to Found You and Wide Open, two masterful pieces of fiction. I hope you felt shivers down your spine and will now stay vigilant, for you never know what may be lurking around the corner. If you found yourself as immersed in Wide Open as I was, you may want to learn more about the artist as well as the performer of the piece. Be sure to follow Tay Alvis on Instagram at Tango Alpha Yankee Echo, Alpha Lima Victor India Sierra, as well as Jake Shannon at Juliet Alpha Kilo Echo, Sierra Hotel Alpha November Oscar November. You can also hit up Tay's official website at www.tayalvis.com. On that note, let us greet again a returning guest from earlier in the day. Professor Tanvi is here to teach us all something new. Welcome back, Professor.
Hello, Awa. It is such a pleasure to be back.
I'm excited to have you here. What will you be teaching us tonight?
To keep with the spooky theme of the evening, I will be letting you know about my favorite historic curse, the curse of the Kohinoor diamond.
Do go on.
We do not have enough time for me to explain fully every victim of the curse of the Kohinoor, so I recommend reading Kohinoor, the story of the world's most infamous diamond, for a very historical perspective. Another option is Cursed and Stolen, Kohinoor diamond, for a more fictional take. The curse goes like this. He who owns the diamond will own the world, but will also know all its misfortunes. Only God or a woman can wear it with impunity. The diamond itself has over 4 centuries of Indian histories, and according to the legends, was to blame for many unfortunate incidents in the courts of ancient India.
Interesting. I did not expect it to be such an ancient curse, but then again, the best ones always are.
Very accurate. So, our first written record of the diamond traces back to 1628, when the Mughal ruler Shah Jahan commissioned a magnificent gemstone-encrusted throne. The fabled throne of Solomon inspired the bejeweled structure. Among the many precious stones that adorned the throne, the Kohinoor was lodged at the very top of the throne, in the head of a glistening gemstone peacock. Soon, the Persian ruler Nadir Shah invaded Delhi in 1739. The ensuing carnage cost tens of thousands of lives and the depletion of the treasury. Nadir took the peacock throne as part of his treasure, but moved the Timur ruby and the Kohinoor diamond to wear on an armband. The Kohinoor would remain away from India, in a country that would become Afghanistan, for 70 years. It passed between the hands of various rulers in one blood-soaked episode after another, including a king who blinded his son and a deposed ruler whose shaved head was coronated with molten gold. Eventually, in the 19th century, the Kohinoor caught the British's attention, who wanted to own the jewel of India and the country itself. Now here is where the story gets complicated. If it wasn't already, the king who owned the diamond at the time, Ranjit Singh, died and wished to pass the diamond off to a sect of Hindu priests, and the colonizers weren't too pleased. However, before they could steal it, the Punjabi throne passed through 4 different rulers over 4 years, leaving a young boy, Dulip Singh, as king in the end. After imprisoning his mother, the British forced Dulip to sign a legal document amending the Treaty of Lahore that required Dulip to give away the Kohinoor and claim all sovereignty. The boy was only 10 years old.
Now, this is intense.
I believe that the next victims of the curse were quite deserving, because after the British East India Company took possession of the diamond aboard one of its ships, it wasn't long before cholera took hold, killing scores on board. Then they land on Mauritius, where the island's inhabitants wisely send them on their way with minimal assistance. The ship was then dragged through a fierce storm, where they somehow survive and finally dock on British shores. Then right after it arrived in Britain, Queen Victoria was attacked by a man with a cane as her carriage rode through the palace's gates. Less than a month later, in July 1850, the country's Prime Minister, Robert Peel, died after he fell from his horse and was trampled underfoot. And soon after, the diamond became a permanent part of the British crown jewels, where it remains to this day.
But doesn't the curse only affect men?
Exactly. That's why I personally believe the incident with Queen Victoria was nothing more than a coincidence. And maybe they believe it too, since only women have worn that crown since. It now sits on display in a museum.
Well, Professor, it was a positively worrying but very fascinating story. Thank you for joining us today.
It was my pleasure. Be sure to check out the books I listed earlier, as this was only a tiny piece of a centuries-long curse. Good night, folks!
Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Call in and tell me about your favorite curse. Is it historical? One you've used on your enemies before, if you have enemies? I look forward to hearing what you have to share. But for now, the time has come for a brief commercial break.
You're listening to the Continuous Underground.